Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my 2025 physical TBR. Now, of course, it's 2025, series are still coming out with books. Like, we do have Onyx Storm coming out really soon. By the time this video comes out, I'm planning on having this out by the 20th. It will be out the next day. So I do have that book on pre-order, and it is going to be shipped to my house whenever Amazon starts shipping them out. So I have Onyx Storm pre-ordered, so that's obviously going to be in the TBR, but I don't have it yet. But I'm gonna talk about all the books that I've been hiding on my bookshelf and keeping on my bookshelf, being like, oh, I'm gonna read them. Oh, I'm gonna read them. I haven't touched them yet. My goal on Goodreads this year is 15 books. My Goodreads is the same as, I believe, my Instagram. Just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna link it down below. But I have 3 piles of books around me, so we're gonna break it up into 3 sections. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, starting with our first section. It's only 4. This is non-romance related books. So books that don't have romance in the like info page, or if they do have romance, it's not the same as like lovey-dovey kind of romance. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton has been on my TBR for a year now, a year and a half. I saw a lot of people talking about it on TikTok a while ago. Yeah, I've just wanted to read it because it talks about like being an adult and kind of like growing into yourself, which, I mean, I'm 25 now, so like it's probably gonna be a good thing. Our next book is The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir. I don't know, she's French. That I could totally butchered that. I do apologize if I did. This is like a essay collection of letters kind of things for a French woman in like the start of the feminism movement. She talks a lot about like getting married. I know there's one. I know there's another one that talks about girls who don't get married. So it's just kind of like an interesting thing to read. So that's why this one's on here. And I also kept seeing it, like these 4 books that I'm talking about, I kept seeing all over Book Talk a while ago, but not so much the romance side, more like the dark academia, kind of like literature side, so keep that in mind. This one is Bunny by Mona Awad. This one, I am so excited. It's more of like a thriller kind of book. Yeah, I'm excited to read Bunny. This book ended up on my TBR because I saw someone on TikTok be like, they're trying to create the perfect boy, and I was like, say less, I'm in. Like, no, I'm literally in. It is obviously a fiction reader. It's not true, but I've heard a lot of really good things about this book. I'm also so down. It's like they like Frankenstein a boy, essentially, which sounds so cool. I'm really hoping to read this book probably closer to October, but we'll see. I might pick it up before then. And our last book is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I've seen this book everywhere on like dark academia, Book Talk, and then like Secret History inspo boards and Secret History mood boards. Yeah, I downloaded that. Every single one of them. They were saved on my TikTok, okay? I got suckered in by mood boards for this book, and I am so excited to read it. I don't really like thrillers, so it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out for me. I know a lot of people were super into it, so I'm also trying to mix in like Bunny was in 2019. I could totally be wrong. But Bunny's like newer, whereas these two aren't newer. These two are from like the turn of the century, I think, give or take. But these three I've seen grouped together, and then this one, just because I feel like you need to read something that's not fiction. You need to read like a memoir or like a life note at some point. So that's my nonfiction, well, my like non-romance / nonfiction / books that I typically wouldn't read pile. We're gonna get into our next section. Our next section of books is more like historical fiction, sci-fi. So Stalking Jack the Ripper. I bought this in October and I was like, I'm gonna read it. Light work, no reaction. It's only like, hold on. It clocks in at 318. That's nothing for me. I'm devouring 300-page books like they're water at this point. Never touched it. Literally never touched it besides when I bought it home from the bookstore. If you go to Barnes & Nobles, you know that they have like the cafe, and this was the cafe book of the month. So I'm excited to read it though, because she's like trying to figure out who Jack the Ripper is. The back literally says, he murdered women in cold blood. He terrorized an entire city. He taunted those of us who hunted him down. But despite all these horrors, in the end of the day, I could not deny it. I was a girl who loved stalking the Ripper. So I'm excited. I know that this is going to be a good read. I will probably devour this so fast. There's a bunch of random things. Oh my God. I didn't know there was letters. Oh, that makes me so much more excited. And there's like script. Oh yeah, this book is going to be, dang, I'm kind of way too excited to read this book. This book might get bumped up in my like schedule when I'm going to read it. It's a historical fiction. It is a juvenile fiction mystery detective book. So kind of going along with like The Secret History, kind of like a murder mystery whodunit. So that's that one. On to our next one is The Inheritance Games, second book, The Hawthorne Legacy. I read The Inheritance Games, the first book in the series. That's the name of it. So fast. And I immediately ran out and bought the second book, and then I stopped reading. I hit like a reading slump. Now, am I reading this because the main character's name is Avery? That might have been a deciding factor for me to start the series, but I loved the first book so much, so I need to pick up the second book. I might have to reread the first book before the second book because I don't really remember a lot of what happened since I read this the first book back in 2023. So it's been almost a year now. But I think the series is finished. If not finished, it's on its last like 2 or 3 books. So I will have to finish that this year. So we'll get into the second one at some point. And our last book in the like non-romance category is Unravel Me. This one I picked up, what's the first book? Hold on. Shatter Me. I picked up Shatter Me on the 13th. So a week ago, give or take, from when this video gets uploaded a week ago. I finished that book in 3 days. And then I tried to pick up another book and I was like, I can't get into this. Like, no, I can't get into it. I need the second book right now. So I went and I bought the second book today. So this is getting added onto my Physical TBR. I'm going to do a whole Shatter Me, like this whole series review once I'm done. I know this was big on Book Talk and like Bookstagram back in 2016. It's kind of around the time it came out. But I am obsessed. I am devouring this book series like no tomorrow. I had to go buy it. The way how the first book ends, you're like, okay, where's the next one? No, like, where is that? So I had to go buy this one, which has been I haven't cracked it open yet. It is longer than the first one, which makes me happy. This one is coming in at 461 pages. So I'm excited to see. I'm kind of nervous because I always feel, this can be said for both of these books because they're both seconds in a series. I always feel like the second book is so much world building, and like, not that I have a problem with that, but sometimes I want a little more action than like world building. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Let's get on to our last category. Romance books. We know them, we love them. Book Talk is full of them. Bookstagram is full of them. I'm a romance girly first and foremost. Can't speak. I love romance. I've always loved romance. Romance books have been my favorite since I got back into reading in 2022, 2023. Yeah. Thank you, ACOTAR, for that. But getting into our romance TBR for the year is a little bit thicker than all the other piles. Tends to be how it is for me. I get more romance books than anything. An Onyx Storm, I guess, should fit somewhere between like romance and sci-fi. I don't really know what we're looking at getting into the new one. Starting off with Morbidly Yours. I bought this book back in October. Swore I was going to read it in October. Didn't end up reading it, and then ended up having to move, so I kind of forgot about it. But I cannot wait. She is from Texas, and she moves to, I believe it's Ireland. She moves to Ireland. They fall in love. She lives next to the cemetery. He's like, I have to get married to keep the cemetery. And she's like, I don't want to get married. I don't do love. I just got like, can't remember if she gets cheated on or what, but all I'm going to say is this book looks so interesting. I'm like reading the back to try and figure out what it is. Okay, no. Her husband passes away and she's not going to get remarried. That's what that one is. Anyways, I'm excited. This one is going to be a big one. I have a feeling. I feel like this one and like all the other books I want to read in like October, like Stalking Jack the Ripper and Bunny and Secret History, are going to end up getting read sooner rather than later because I'm just so excited about them that I have to read them. And if we're going to keep going with the spooky, we're going to talk about Haunted Ever After. So a little local flair. It's based in Florida, in a small coastal town, and they're struggling to get tourism dollars as usual. The main character, Cassie, all of her friends are getting married, and she decides that she's going to move to a small coastal town away from Orlando. And then she ends up moving there. She meets the coffee shop owner, and he's like, your house is def haunted. And she's like, my house is not haunted. And then her house is haunted, and then seems kind of like they fall in love. There's some gossip, there's some ghost. It seems like a perfect October read, which is also when I bought this book and didn't touch it because I had to move. So any of these books that I'm saying like are good October reads are going to be read either in October or around the like spooky season. So I'm excited for this one too. Getting off of the spooky season, let's do Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Seen this book everywhere. I just finished Love Hypothesis. Just finished Love Hypothesis at the beginning of the year. It was my second book for 2025. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like knock my socks off best book I've ever read. And I can like talk about it more because I'm going to do quarterly wrap-ups of every book I read this year. But I'm excited to read this one. It was good. I enjoyed the like plot and the context, so I can't complain too much. I'm just not a big science girly, but I like the way she writes about science in a way that like for me, who's not a big science girly, doesn't feel too intimidated. I'm excited. I honestly ranked Love Hypothesis, I think a 3.5, so it'll be interesting to see where Love Theoretically comes in. And we'll do our last non-sports related one, and then we'll get into the sports one. A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. So this is by Sarah Hawley, And I have read The Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I had to remember it because I always messed it up. Even like when I was typing my review, I kept messing it up. Great book series. Really loved the first book. I thought it was hilarious. Now, I read that back in 2023, like right when it first came out. And I deeply, deeply, deeply enjoyed this series. I am excited to read the second one. They're kind of like the same characters, but not following the same couple. So I like that when you have like an established set of characters, kind of like Icebreaker or like any hockey college romance where you have like a set of characters and you kind of get to see one character's relationship develop with another character, but you can see like them all develop. So that's kind of what this one's doing, but it's like witches and demons and werewolves, and that's fun. So once again, another book that would be a great October read, but this probably will be like midsummer for me. Yeah, I'm excited. And on to the last of our romance books, but these ones are sports romance, which is arguably my favorite kind of romance. I only started reading because everyone was like, hockey romance, and I was like, what's the big deal with hockey romances? Then I found out the big deal with hockey romances. So I have no complaints, no questions, no comments, no concerns. I love a good hockey romance. And on to our first one is Collide. So this is actually when she first came out with Collide, I sprinted to Amazon and I bought this. This is when I think she was still self-publishing the book. This looks like it was self-published. Yes, so this is when she was still self-publishing the books in 2023. I purchased it before it was even out because I like it. What I liked about it though was they're a little bit more like she's the studious one and he's like the carefree hockey player, but she has to do a research paper on them, like on sports psychology. So that's what I really liked about it. I liked the fact that it was like not so much I don't mind the ice skater and the hockey romances, but I like something that was a little different, and this one was a little different. So I'm excited to finally read this one. I know her second book is coming out in a couple months, if not months, weeks, like really, really soon. Her second book is coming out for this series, so I'm excited. I have Only When It's Us. I have not touched Only When It's Us. I have read or maybe listened to the first 2 to 4 chapters, I think on Audible. So I haven't done a lot. But I know it's enemies to lovers, which I do like a good enemies to lovers. And my friend Margaret recommended this to me. She is the soccer player and she is like on top of her whole life. And then this is Ryder, who is in class with her, but she's struggling in this class and she has to like kind of be friends to him. It's enemies to lovers. This is part of the Bergman book, like Bergman Brothers book series. I believe there's 6 of them. Margaret's read all of them. She loves them. So I'm excited to get into this one this year. My goal is to read at least this one. I think Margaret wants me to read the first 2 or 3, so to get through those this year. And on to our last, I've already made a post about this on TikTok and on Instagram, book. Throttled, a Formula One romance. Now, I have not read. I've not touched the reviews. I just know that it's Formula One, and from what I've seen, most people tend to like it. I am an avid fan of Formula One. Like, that is my sport. I love racing. That's 2023 I got really into Formula One, and I'm still into Formula One. Like, that is my favorite thing on the planet Earth. I put the race calendar on my phone. I love it. I am interested to see how it comes across in a book series. With how much I know about the sport, I'm trying to go into it not knowing anything about the sport, if that makes sense. Like, nothing more than a quick Google search could give you, because I've been into Formula One for a really long time. My dad liked Formula One, so I have like years of Formula One. he still watches it, but it's hard with the time difference, and he's not going to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch the Japan race like I do. But I'm excited to read Throttled. I will let you guys know how I feel about it once I finish that. But I think that's it. That is my entirety of my 2025 physical TBR. Like I said, my goal is 15 books for the year, and I'm 3 books in. I'll probably be 4 books in here soon. I will update. I don't think I'm going to finish this book in 3 days, but I'll update if I do. But yeah, that's my TBR. So thank you for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. My question for you guys this week is, what books are you excited to read in 2025? And if you don't have a book you're excited to read, do you at least have a reading goal? Like, what's your reading goal? Even 1 book is still an improvement from no books. Always remember that. I just go through books like they're water because I like reading. It's fun. It's really easy for me, and I'm trying to get off my phone more as I've been creating content. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!